Hello, welcome back to Ben Sushi LiveEnoDing. So in this episode, we're gonna do similar thing like last one. In the last episode, I was using Sverchok add-on to display the name of every object as a text object, and we're gonna do the same thing here, but we're gonna be using animation nodes. So I will have a couple of objects ready, and I'll save this real quick. Animation nodes an and object name text. Gonna save this. And with animation nodes, if you are gonna be processing multiple objects, you need to group it first. So I group the objects and then go to compositing, switch to animation nodes, and we're gonna start with objects in. So objects from group. I'm gonna grab the group, and right away we can see we have multiple objects here, and we can use actually animation nodes viewer as well, and you can see this is the some kind of data block. Actually it's more like this is actually the dictionary or the items, so like a collection of objects that we can process. So with this guy selected, if you tap W, we're gonna loop through objects. So inside the loop we are processing each and every object. So we got the objects, and now we need to grab the name of the objects. So I will be using attribute. So we have been using object attribute output in the past. I will use object attribute input, and in this case we're gonna look at the name of the objects, and we can actually inside the loop we can check the name. We can check the output. So loop viewer, put in the data, and then let's quickly observe the result. You can see Suzanne Taurus on the cube. Okay, so we are kind of nearly there. We just need to have like a text object. So with the text object, we need to have text object output. So we kind of we already have the data here. We can plug into the text, turn it on, and here we need the text object. So with animation nodes, for any kind of output, we need to first create object instance, and we're gonna specify the text object, and the number of this text object should match the number of objects being selected in the group. So I will use the list length. So this is the group, this is the objects, and we can check the total number of the group using this get list length, plug in the length into the instance. So now we have a bunch of text objects ready for us to be used, and this guy needs to go inside the loop. So I will create a text object text list, or actually object list, but I'm gonna call this text object. So this goes in there, and with this text object ready for us, we just specify that text object there, and I think we are nearly there. We can kind of make the size smaller or bigger. We can extrude it, this guy. We can also rotate it, but the placement is currently still wrong. So object transform, we need object transform input. So we're gonna get the object position and object transform output for the text object. So a lot of like kind of wiring of objects here and there, but it's really once you understand what's going on, it's actually pretty simple and quite intuitive. So we can rotate this guy actually in the x-axis. So it's slightly different with Sverchok. You specify the axis and rotation. This one is more like Euler. And for the text object, actually we need to turn on the alignment of horizontal alignment and make it center, and then we can perhaps offset the translation as well. So we already have this happening. Location vector math, we can offset this guy up a little bit. So we have the torus, cube, Suzanne, of course, and if you want to add more objects, we can do that. This guy, we want to put it inside the group, so we can specify the group like this. Cone, okay, seems not updating properly. Gonna select all this guy, group it, and select group number 2, and I think there you go. It's pretty much it. The locations, so this guy can be anywhere, and the text object will always be on the top of the object. Yeah, so there you go. That's how you do it using animation nodes. Of course, you can do a lot more, but this is the basic idea. You start with a bunch of objects, and then you kind of reference the objects, get the total number of the objects, create the instance of text objects, and then inside the loop, we specify, okay, grab the property, the name of the objects, pass it as a string type of data, and then text object output goes in here, and then this is kind of place the text object based on the location of the objects. Yeah, so that's how I kind of summarize it. Maybe this can be simplified in the future, but this is pretty much it. Hopefully it's useful. Let me know what you think. If you have any question, feedback, suggestion, and thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.